Karen thought she could turn her backyard into a secret moneymaker. She rented out her HOA pool for rehab sessions, charging thousands without permits, inspections, or medical staff. Residents complained, kids were banned from the pool, and strangers kept showing up. When I reported it, she called me a liar and, for the fire marshal showed up unannounced. What they found: moldy equipment, overloaded outlets, locked gates, and 0 emergency exits. She got fined, shut down, and banned from HOA leadership. Rehab business gone, HOA control gone, and her smug attitude evaporated faster than that filthy pool water. It all started one unusually warm spring afternoon when I noticed a strange van idling in front of Karen's house. The president of our HOA and self-declared queen of the neighborhood, who had recently grown more controlling than usual, sending out citations over flower colors and lawnmower noise. But what truly caught my attention that day wasn't her usual HOA antics. It was the people in scrubs, unloading physical therapy gear and hydro rehab chairs through the side gate into what was supposed to be our HOA community pool, though Karen always acted like it was hers alone, especially since she lived right beside it and had the only private gate access. Now, at first, I figured maybe a family member was in recovery, but as days passed, more and more vans rolled in, strangers came and went, and the pool was suddenly closed for maintenance, according to her email blasts. Yet I saw no workers, strange medical-looking staff ushering injured people around, giving instructions, guiding them into the pool with tools I'd only seen in rehab centers. And it didn't stop there, because then came the cameras, tripods, and even a makeshift banner that read Sun Lake Recovery Pool Sessions by appointment, only which I found hanging on the gate early one morning while walking my dog. And that's when I realized Karen had turned our HOA pool into her own underground rehab business. I started documenting everything: plates, staff rotations, number of guests per day, because it was obvious this wasn't some informal favor for friends. This was a full and illegal operation, complete with paid sessions and confidential client logs I glimpsed when one of the workers left a binder on the hood of a van. And what's worse, no one in the HOA board claimed to know about it. But every time someone questioned the pool closure or suggested getting a copy of the maintenance receipts, Karen would override them with executive decisions and threaten fines for disrupting HOA business. So I took my concerns to the city health department first, who told me they couldn't act without more direct evidence of public endangerment, which I knew was hard to prove without stepping foot into the facility myself. And of course, Karen had installed locks, cameras, even no trespassing signs around the entire pool area, as if it were a government facility, despite it technically being a communal amenity. Then, one day, I saw a frail elderly man nearly trip on a wet ramp while 2 undertrained aides struggled to lift him into the pool. He slipped, bashed his shin, and sat on the edge crying in pain, while the staff panicked and just wrapped it with a towel. No nurse, no emergency contact called. And that was the last straw for me, because now it wasn't just shady, it was dangerous. So I did the next best thing. I reached out to my cousin, a firefighter, who connected me with someone in the fire marshal's office, explaining that while the health department moves slowly, fire code violations, especially in makeshift rehab settings, got much quicker attention. And sure enough, after sending over a detailed complaint, time-stamped photos, and a diagram I sketched of the pool area and limited exits, they agreed to send someone for an unannounced inspection the following Monday. And when that day came, I stayed home from work just to witness it all unfold. Karen, dressed like she was running a 5-star wellness spa, was mid-session with 5 elderly clients in the pool and another in a wheelchair waiting for his turn, when the fire marshal's red vehicle rolled up, followed by 2 inspectors and a county compliance officer. And the chaos that ensued was glorious. Karen ran to intercept them, fake smile plastered on her face, trying to wave them off, claiming it was a private gathering, but they weren't having it. They walked straight past her into the pool gate, inspecting electrical cords, snaking through puddles, locked emergency exits, overcapacity signs mismatched with the number of clients, and worst of all, no licensed medical personnel on site, no AED, no marked fire extinguishers, and absolutely 0 permits for operating any kind of public facility, let alone a water-based rehab center. And within minutes, the lead inspector slapped a bold red "Cease Operations Immediately" notice on the fence while Karen shouted about connections and civil lawsuits, her voice rising as the fire marshal calmly listed off code after code she had violated. With clipboard in hand, and the clients, some of whom had no idea the setup was illegal, looked horrified as they packed their towels and left, assisted by confused drivers who had just pulled in. The news spread like wildfire throughout the community, and Karen, red-faced and shaking with rage, tried to spin it as a targeted attack by jealous residents. But nobody was buying it anymore, especially not when the fire marshal confirmed that not only would she face personal fines exceeding $75,000, but the HOA itself could be liable for allowing the property to be used improperly under her unchecked authority. And suddenly, board members who once cowered under her rule were holding emergency meetings, demanding audits, and distancing themselves from the woman who had hijacked our pool for profit. And as for me, I watched it all unfold from my porch with a cup of coffee and a smile, knowing that sometimes, when Karen plays queen, it only takes one spark to bring the whole castle crashing down. And trust me, that spark had just lit a fuse.